Soul Sparks, where we ignite transformative conversations for the seekers, dreamers, and truth tellers. I'm your host, Saima, and today's guest is a visionary Marko Petrovic, world explorer, mystic guide, and two-time best-selling author of Soul Path and Embrace of the Elements. Through his Mara project, Marco leads soul-stirring pilgrimage to sacred sites, blending ancient wisdom with modern seekers' longings. He's not just a traveler of the earth, but a cartographer of the inner world. And tonight he's here to guide us deeper into our soul own path. Marco, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Saima. Appreciate it.
You're warmly welcome. Now let's start with you have journeyed to some of the world's most secret places. So what was the first pilgrimage that truly transformed you?
The first film language that truly transformed me. It's a good question. Um, I'd say Mexico. Going to Mexico, particularly the Mexican desert, has been a place that's not just transformed me once, but many times over.
Mm-hmm. So how did that journey, shift your sense of purpose or identity?
I'd say that it was more about allowing myself to go through a complete rebirth. So less about it shifting my purpose or identity, and more about it me uncovering the deeper layers of what I'm here to do with my life and what that looks like in terms of expression in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an interesting question how it shifted my identity. I'd say it allowed me to know parts of myself that I never knew before because it required me learning new culture, new language. And while I speak two languages already, learning a third one was a really fascinating journey for me because with each language, I feel like it gives us new ways to navigate through life as we bridge these new networks in the mind. And so, in many ways, I felt like I was discovering a version of myself that I never knew before.
Mm-hmm. And Marco, it's actually powerful to hear that sometimes the road back home begins by leaving home, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, your work blends the four elements earth, water, fire, and air into personal transformation. So, how can listeners connect with these elements in daily life, even if, they're not on a physical pilgrimage?
Yeah, I'd say it comes down to simple practices, such as one of the most powerful practices that I still practice today that changed my life tremendously was to start every single day with a glass of water. I got a glass of pure, clean water and to take a few moments to pray with it before I drink, and for that to be my way to start the day. And it's a very simple practice, but through that process, I could notice when I look back after 20 or 30 days, it started to have a profound impact on my life. So it's one of those little levers that we can pull in life. As they say, the small hinges that swing big doors. That's what it was for me. And that's what it can be for everyone. And what is something that, as with all the elements, something that we take for granted because we have it, for the most part, in the world, uh, we have it quite accessible and available. And yeah, if we sit and contemplate our relationship to it, we realize that without water, we don't last very long, and all the beauty of this life ceases to exist. And you learn these things at different levels during a pilgrimage, but you can learn that as well uh, through the everyday, just by spending a few moments to pray with it.
Mm-hmm. So, which element do you think that, most people are disconnected from today?
I'd say we're pretty disconnected from all of them. The most disconnected, probably the fire. I'd say it's rare for people to spend extended time around a fire in today's day and age. Whereas if we go back only a few generations, our grandparents or our great grandparents were spending lots of time around the fire. Our grandmothers were probably cooking a lot around the fire. And it's an element that's so critical for the human soul that I feel like we've become largely disconnected from.
That's thought provoking. Now, initiation is a big theme in your work, right? Like in modern times. How do you think people experience or miss out on true initiations into adulthood, leadership, or legacy?
In terms of how they miss out on it, I'd say it's largely because modern day culture doesn't really have a culture of initiation, particularly for men. For women, it does have it a little bit, and the only reason why is because it's uh, a natural law that most women will go through one of the most profound initiations in their life, which is the initiation into motherhood, right? And whereas with men, many of the initiations have been forgotten and lost that men used to go through. And in those forgotten steps that are so critical, when you ask me a question about legacy, and I feel like it doesn't allow us to connect to the essence of who we really are. And so living a life of legacy, it becomes a little more challenging. People have different ideas of legacy and what it looks like to express that. For some people, their legacy is what they leave for their future generations, and that's a part of it. But the true legacy that I look at is less about the material aspects and more about how I have been an example through the inner kingdom that I've cultivated in my life and reflected that onto them. And I
hmm
feel like that's the greatest legacy that we can leave, a beautiful image for them to reflect upon so that they can navigate their own journey through life.
I completely agree. So, can you share one practice we can adopt to consciously mark transitions in our own lives?
Yeah, I feel like ritual practice around the fire is what's been done throughout the ages around the globe. And it's something that can't be stepped over or uh, skipped, right? When I think about ritual practice and initiation, it's from Australia to the Americas and Asia, Europe, and Africa, like everywhere. It's always been done around the fire. In terms of how we can bring it into the modern day, I'd say firstly, the first step is really simple, but just start cultivating a relationship with the fire. And what that looked like for me many years ago now was to spend the whole night around the fire, to go cut my own wood and spend from sunset to sunrise around the fire. So it speaks to that old saying that says chop wood, carry water, right? Spending the time to cut my own wood and spend the night around the fire will do more than words ever could in terms of opening up pathways of initiation for me and my relationship to the fire.
Mm-hmm. It's so insightful actually, like we are craving rites of passage but have lost the rituals, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. Marco, thank you for reminding us that the soul's journey isn't just outward, it's inward, elemental, and eternal. And for all our listeners, maybe today's invitation is to slow down, listen, and let the unseen guide you toward what's truly sacred. Until next time on Soul Sparks, keep walking, keep wandering, and keep weaving your legacy, one soulful step at a time.